WrestleTalk.
All In was on Sunday night. I was there. You were there. Pretty much everyone was there. 100 million people were in Wembley Stadium. It set all-time attendance records. It was a fantastic night, an historic night, a record-setting night in wrestling. And All Out's this weekend. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Chopper Pete Quinnell. I didn't know which nickname to use for you there. What do you want to be today?
Let's just go with Pete. Pete Quinnell.
The Dynamite Boy, Pete Quinnell?
The Dynamite Boy? Don't like that. No.
Pete out? All Pete?
All Pete. All Pete wrestling. All a Pete wrestling.
It's All Pete wrestling today with me. Please press the thumbs up button if you haven't already and give us a subscribe. Leave a comment down below with what you thought of this episode and how you're feeling towards the All Out card in general. And send in those OmegaChats to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one over $5 before the end of the show. But before we get into bits of the show, there's this just overall malaise about this episode, which we're going to talk about. So no specific segment apart from the bit where Excalibur just ran down the card for the next 4 weeks.
Yep.
It's just how All In, it had Young Bucks FTR. It had Jericho Ospreay. It had the main event of MJF and Adam Cole and the tag match that preceded it on the pre-show. And it had, last week, one of the best go-home shows I've ever seen, and I think definitely that AEW have ever done.
Yeah.
So really, really impressed. This episode was both a post-All-In show, so a lot of momentum they've got that you kind of want to follow up on hot. There are reasons why you couldn't do that in some cases, and we'll get into that. But then you also have booked yourself in a position where you've got to now set up a whole other pay-per-view caliber card, All Out, which has a very high pedigree, very high expectations. And it is nowhere near good enough for the standard of AEW cards.
It's unfortunate because I think a lot of the matches that are on there, I think could be good, fun matches.
Oh, they'll be very fun.
It's kind of the same way that I feel about, weirdly enough, Payback this weekend. In that I feel like the matches on there are like, yeah, they could be fun. I don't know if I particularly care that much about a lot of them, but I think from an objective wrestling standpoint, it could be a fun show.
Have a good time.
But this doesn't feel like it has the stakes, the juice that an All Out normally does. Like, that you don't have the women's world champ, you don't have the men's world champ. You do, but not defending the title. The highest you've got, I think, is the international title, which, granted, has been elevated massively by Orange Cassidy, and I'm really looking forward to that match.
Yeah.
It should be awesome. But when you're debating that being your main event, it kind of says, like, well, maybe we don't have as big a match as we've got. And you have your big singles match of Kenny and Takeshita, which, like, yeah, should be really good. I think the build this week was fine. Didn't really have that hot kind of go-home angle. Like, the initial start of that feud was great, and then it went off the boil for a little bit. Got a bit muddy with Ospreay and Blood and Guts and all that stuff. Like, it got a bit muddy in there. So it just feels like All In was kind of the peak, and this is very much kind of the afterthought show, which, if you look at it from an objective standpoint, that's probably the right way round to do it. All In probably shouldn't have been the afterthought of the two, but also you shouldn't have an afterthought at all.
Yeah, particularly when I think the way this works, the All In, All Out, Shake It All About week, is that they both have to be absolutely incredible shows.
Yeah.
And it is worrying that on the first go of this, they've massively undermined All Out, which was the fear going in. And I think from reading, I mean, who knows if this will actually translate to people's actions. But I've seen so many comments being, I'm not flush with cash right now. I just spent $50 on All In. I'm not going to spend $50 on what looks like a B show. I think just to go to your WWE Payback point, I think it's a really interesting comparison because WWE do this all the time. And I don't want to be labeled with the, but like WWE do it and you're not criticizing them. But WWE have set different expectations. WWE do have B shows.
Yeah.
AEW don't have B shows, really. They've got their 4 or 5 big cards every year, and they last about 4 or 5 hours overall. Payback, I will be baffled if that goes over 2 hours, 45 minutes.
Yeah. That's a 6-match card.
And I can enjoy anything for 2 hours, 45 minutes. I think.
Totally 6 days.
There's probably a bunch of 2 hours, 45 minutes. That is... Wait. Are you counting the night out beforehand? But yeah, I'd like the prospect of an all-out card, 5 hours long with the pre-show, and I'll just run through the card because it's also not just the no AEW World Title, no AEW Women's World Title. Of course, these could be added on Collision. No tag team defense, no tag team title, no trios championship.
Yeah.
So of the loads of belts, no real world's championship if we're going to start recognizing that for CM Punk as well.
Yeah.
If we're going to take all of the AEW titles, there are only 3 being defended on this show. The International, the TBS, and the TNT title.
Yeah.
The TBS is the secondary women's belt and has been booked into oblivion. So has the TNT championship. The International championship is fantastic right now. But yeah, it's those 3 and 2 Ring of Honor titles. Not even the world title there.
Yeah.
Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin. Miro Powerhouse Hobbs. Statlander versus Soho. Cassidy versus Moxley. Omega Takeshita. Bullet Club Gold versus the Young Bucks and FTR 8-man tag. Adam Cole and MJF versus, spoiler for Rampage, the Dark Order.
I spoke about this on the All Out prediction show, which is going to be going up tomorrow. The Kingdom's right there. I thought this would have been the perfect opportunity because I think even if that match is of a lesser quality, you can make up for it with the story going into it. Like, the Kingdom is the perfect way to keep that story brewing. And they didn't do that.
Well, I think you could definitely have a 1-week title reign for the tag titles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put over Max's injured neck.
Yep.
A little bit of miscommunication. Kingdom get the belts.
Yeah. Strong
that
interference.
Elevates them. Strong interference, yeah. Samoa Joe, Shane Taylor, and Eddie Kingston and Shibata versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta.
Which, by the way, jazzed that Shane Taylor's on All Out.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Love Shane
Taylor. But also, why?
He's never been set up on AEW to my knowledge.
It's really strange.
I have... This is a crazy card.
Yeah, it is.
No Jericho, no Hangman Page, of course no Punk, but we'll give them a pass for that because of extenuating circumstances. No Saraya, no Britt Baker.
Yep.
Like, there are just so many names.
Tony Storm.
No Tony Storm, but I wouldn't put her on, like, you know,
I think
sort of
with the current
level.
character that she's been going, she's been generating a lot of hype. I
Yeah,
think
she's a fun character.
if you gave her a singles match on this card, even if it's on 0 Hour or something, if you gave her a match on this card, I think people would respond to it.
Yeah, they would like it, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's not a big draw name.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, so... And there are so many simple fixes, like what you said with the Kingdom and the tag title match. That Bullet Club Gold Young Bucks FTR 8-man tag. This is Alvarez's idea. It was just like, why not just make it FTR versus the Young Bucks versus Juice Robinson and Jay White?
Yeah.
Especially after that FTR Juice and Jay match on Collision. You can make it for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
That feels like the old AEW tag division strength.
Yeah.
It's like open goals are right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm astounded by how underwhelming this all-out card is.
Yeah. The thing I would compare it to, I think I mentioned this in the office earlier, can't remember if you were there or not, was Royal Quest Night 1 and 2. When you have
I was there, but you incorrectly called it Crown Jewel.
I did incorrectly
times.
call it Crown Jewel. I meant Royal Quest Night 1 and 2, where you have like the same wrestlers happen to wrestle on both nights. And they'll have a big match on one, but then they're in like a 8-man tag or a 10-man tag the next night. Something less important the other night. And to me, it feels like we've got a couple of big singles matches. You know, we have the Kenny Omega Konosuke Takeshita match, and they were in a multi-man at All In. So it's like, okay, we've got the multi-man here, and here's the singles match. But it felt like the split is very much like All In gets a lot of the juice, and well, not Juice Robinson, gets a lot of the...
he was on All In.
Yeah, he was. Gets a lot of like the big matches, and All Out gets a lot of like... You know, it's in like the G1 where you just have a load of people in tag matches when they're not doing their G1 matches. It's kind of that feeling for me. It very much feels like this is the filler show.
It's a road to All Out show.
Yes, it
as
is.
New Japan often books their sort of dark match show builds. Should we see what everyone else's opinions are on the Omega chats?
Yes.
Matt Hennessy says, All Out kind of feels like a house outside of Mox versus Cassidy and Kenny versus Konosuke for the rest of the matches, have little to no build, and just feel randomly added. Yeah. Feels like a house outside.
A house show, I would assume.
Oh,
a house show outside of Mox versus Cassidy.
I didn't know if it was a new bit of internet lingo.
Feels like a house outside. Oof.
Like when people started saying touch grass a few months ago, I was like, what?
A few months?
Years. Yeah, but it was... When Punk said it, that was the first time I'd heard it.
Can tell you're never on social media.
I was like, is it because the grass is greener on the other side?
Must be, yeah, definitely.
Is it like touching cloth? Kevin, All Out feels like when Wrestle Kingdom had 2 nights, but here it's night 2 that is a bunch of tag matches and matches that would be lower on the All-In card. Exactly what Pete just said with a different New Japan show.
Yeah, different analogy, yeah.
Could still be fun, yeah. But yeah, I hope they don't book them back to back next year.
They are.
They are.
Yeah, Khan said that in the press conference. He was like, yeah, I want to create tradition, so August bank holiday in the UK is going to be All In, and Labor Day weekend is going to be All Out, and that's the way it's going to be.
What's particularly disappointing is I do defend AEW a lot. Obviously not on this show, but to my friends and people with opinions. And,
people with opinions?
Oh, they've all got them.
Yeah.
And it's like an asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone's got them.
Everyone's got them.
But the... Oh, sorry, I was trying to... I think that's a Norm Macdonald joke. Opinions are like assholes.
Everyone's got them, yeah.
What was I saying, Pete?
I don't know. You defend AEW
I defend AEW.
Yeah.
And usually, I can... People will be like criticizing AEW in bad faith.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are they doing this? I'm like, well, look, you can see why they're doing this. And I have defended the all-in, all-out booking as a potential good idea if you make it just like this banging back-to-back bookend show.
Yeah. So
I feel personally let down that this was the card we've been given. Charles Berg, good as Orange's new catchphrase was, I don't think I'll be buying this AEW pay-per-view. Nothing on it excites me, but on Rampage there is a blind eliminator level up tag team in Winnipeg. Battle, not casino, royal. That should be fun, hopefully.
Yeah.
Shaggy Dudley. Is it just me, or did CM Punk get in a kerfuffle with Jungle Boy after the hook car spot just because that car was supposed to pick him up from the airport? Also, why does All Out have so many ROH title defenses?
Because they don't have any others.
They've got so many others.
They've got so many others, but they don't want to put any others.
I haven't really had a chance to talk about all of the little details coming out of this. Tony Khan underneath monitors is my favorite visual. CM Punk on the tube.
Yep.
Get an Uber, man.
You can afford it.
Like I can tell. No, I'm not going to get an Uber. Yeah. I'm going to make my journey the most difficult it can be, and I'm going to let people take pictures to support my version of events when I throw a strop. I'm on your side, Punk, but you do not make it easy to be a CM Punk fan. Oh my God! If there's a big war, I'm loyal. I'm on your side. But my God, what are you doing? And also Brody King punching a wall.
Brody King punching a something, apparently.
Oh, and Nando's.
Why not?
Who could my source be? I'll just include this detail where CM Punk ordered everyone Nando's. Jesus. Oh no, he's a good guy. He bought all the women's locker room Starbucks gift cards. Now he takes all the boys out. The people he likes. Honestly. You're a nice guy.
Oh, God.
S. Morgan. This situation reminds me of when movie studios decide to split the final book of us.
Yes.
Series into 2 movies, and one of them ends up being very mediocre. Perfect. Analogy.
Love it. Great call.
Hasn't happened in a while. That was very hot around the Hunger Games, Harry Potter.
Yeah. Those are the big times. 2 that I remember seeing and being like, did you need that?
Andy Sandbox, I love AEW, best wrestling content in general for me, but it definitely feels like All Out does not have the hype behind it. I blame the company being stretched thin, stars are hurt and getting suspended. It really is Forbidden Door 2022 again.
Yeah, I guess so. Injury spats and that.
Well, you said something in the office that I think is really important here.
Yeah.
Where it's not, there's suspensions, there's travel issues, there might be some illnesses picked up in the UK. Those are all things, unfortunately, down to circumstance.
Yes.
But one thing that was in your control
is booking pay-per-views on back-to-back weekends. Don't do that. Because then if you have something go wrong, like this, then it's really stretched thin and you can't do anything about it. And then you've only got a week to turn it around. And now you're screwed. And it's kind of what's happened. Then people get suspended and then you don't have a card anymore.
So yeah, a lot of things have not gone AEW's way, but they booked themselves into a corner. They took a very risky move and it has not paid off.
Yeah.
And they are at fault for making the risky move.
That's exactly it.
And they're in the same position next year. So hopefully they learn from it.
Yeah.
Where are we in this?
Wyatt will be missed is the next one.
Wyatt will be missed. Dynamite boy Pete. No, you're all Pete Wrestling. Are we ever going to get Pete's pet peeves? Hope everyone is well. If this happens in the future, do you think they should do build-ups on Collision and do one angle on All In? Well, they did angles on All In.
I feel like, call me crazy, and it probably is crazy, I don't think it's that crazy to build to 2 pay-per-views at once when you have 2 shows going on with All In and All Out. I think you can quite easily split that, especially if there's going to be some people who wrestle on both.
Mm-hmm.
You can have one set up the other, and you can have angles that culminate at All In, but then have like a sequel at All Out. You have ways and means of building both shows at the same time, rather than building 2 All In and then going, oh crap, we've got a week for All Out. You should be spending the build for All In, also building All Out. That would be my view.
Now seeing the card for All Out, I presume that's what they were doing. But now it just feels like they did everything for All In, did not look a day beyond that, and now they've got in this position. And like there's storyline potential there. Doing shows so close together, that's very unique. So exploit that fact. You've got MJF, who is doing a kayfabe neck injury after the Adam Cole match. Don't let him go to Paris for a well-earned week off. Make him do a Moxley. Make him work that Dynamite. He's on Dynamite, and you can just chuck someone up the card. You can do anyone. I mean, I was thinking earlier, who would it be? Malachi Black. Just reheat Malachi Black. He's one of those guys who can just... Max is there. Yeah, I've got a bad neck, but Tony Khan says I have to defend the title. Open challenge, whatever. And he's like, please let it be someone rubbish. And then Malachi Black's music hits. And then you tell that story of, well, Max is going and injured. Malachi Black's got the devastating head kick.
Yeah.
I don't believe Malachi is going to win, but I want to see that match.
That then leads into a completely separate point, but something I wish that wrestling did more often is when double champions have to defend both their belts all the time. Because I hate it when people win multiple belts and then just defend one of them. It's like, well, what? That should be the downside of winning multiple belts. You now have a massive target on your back because everyone's coming for you. So it should be that MJF now has to wrestle for the tag belt, the Ring of Honor tag belts, and defend his world title every time. And that is going to play on his mind. It's like, that's a whole storytelling device right there. I wish they did that more.
I agree. I'm just Marcus. I love AEW, but man, did this show feel just kind of here. And as a result, All Out feels also just kind of here, apart from the international title and the Omega match. I don't really care and probably won't buy this one.
It's valid. Yeah.
Andy Sandbox, finally for now. I think 2023 All In Out shows the bold ambition AEW wants to push, and that's commendable. Like Forbidden Door 2023, I think All In Out 2024 will be significantly better. Looking forward to All Out regardless. The pay-per-view experience is always good, despite all. Yeah, it will be a fun show.
It will be a fun show, regardless. It's just not as great as it could be. And that's our biggest criticism, I think.
Yeah, but like nowhere near as good.
Yes,
going
exactly.
In. Like I feel like so much of wrestling is the excitement, and it's not there.
Yeah,
and you had all that momentum coming out of All In. I bought a £65 football replica T-shirt.
You did.
Luke, when I told Luke that, he was like, whoa, that is rare for you. I'm like, yeah, it is. That's how drunk I got.
Because you're a mark.
I'm a mark.
Yeah.
I was a mark that night, and
You
I
were.
loved it.
Yeah.
And now we're back here.
Yep.
Anyway, let's do the play-by-play review. Keep getting in your Omega chats to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one over $5. There was a great through line on this episode.
Sure was.
Bad post-all-in show. Bad all-out go-home show. Excellent show for the International Championship.
I thoroughly enjoyed everything to do with the international title on this show. Really enjoyed the international title since Cassidy won the belt, pretty much. And this, to me, is a great way to cap off Cassidy's reign.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's get into that at the end. The show opened with a recap package of All In. I thought, first time I watched it, I thought there's no Punk or Perry footage in there. There totally is. There's loads.
Yeah.
John Moxley versus Komander was the opening match. Sort of part of that Phoenix, Komander, Penta, Alex Abrahantis, Lucha buddy thing.
Yep. Mox attacking luchadors. It's always a good thing.
This was a fun match, but it was mostly Mox killing him and beat him in about 7 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Komander had some good hope spots, but ultimately Mox just got the win pretty decisively with a submission. Did a sleeper and then transitioned into an armbar. Very nice.
Well, I love when Moxley does this, and he seems to do it all the time now. He did a pile driver, and then Komander kicked out. There is no he kicked out. It is straight into submissions. I think he went chokehold, armbar. After that, we got a rare Orange Cassidy hype video package.
Yeah, not the last promo we'd hear from Orange Cassidy on this show, but good nonetheless.
Yeah. We got a clip from backstage at All In. So this had happened after the match. FTR came to talk to the Bucks in the locker room. And they're like, hey, guys, why didn't you shake our hands after the match?
Yep.
And Matt and Nick just go, heat at the moment, it's all cool.
Essentially, yeah. And we were a bit frustrated. This was supposed to be our show. We were supposed to win. It's All In, and we didn't. So, sorry.
Which is... I feel like everyone kayfabe is getting on a bit too well at the moment. Cole didn't turn on Max.
Yeah.
Bucks and FTR are like, sorry about that misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I'm going through some stuff right now.
Yeah.
Blood and Guts was
Jericho
one.
Guevara.
Yeah, Blood and Guts was Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite acknowledging each other.
Yeah. Everyone loves each other. It's a great place to work, Ollie. There's nothing going wrong backstage.
The only feuds are real. But I do think this is gonna... I don't think this is the last of it. I think that was the Bucks line because they're gonna turn on FTR.
I hope so. I hope it leads to something because I don't think this should end with them going, sorry about that, and they go, all right.
Yeah.
And then they go their separate ways. I think that would be bad.
Bullet Club Gold got in the face. That was so funny. Jay White was like, this is the winner's locker room. So FTR, you can stay, Young Bucks, you're going to have to go.
Yeah. I really like this promo segment, and Bullet Club are really fun. There's a lot of cross-talk in this segment. There are 8 people trying to talk. It's like, gang, can we have a bit of structure?
What, Juice is going to talk.
Juice is going to juice. It's fine. But there's a lot of cross-talk in this one. They're just, I don't know, just a little bit
angry
of
talk. Sorry.
See, Luke would have laughed at that.
Yeah, he's a nice person.
Yeah, not me.
So this sets up the 8-man tag at All Out. And that was the first bit in the show where I was like, huh? That's not a match I particularly care. You mean Collision, right? You mean Collision?
Yeah, to set up the go-home angle for All Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on Collision, it's Dax versus... Is it Jay?
I can't remember. Have you seen the other bonkers thing that's happening on Collision that I don't get?
No.
The Ricky Starks thing?
Oh, he's called out Ricky Steamboat.
He's calling out Ricky Steamboat for a strap match at All Out.
It'll be Sabu.
What?
I don't think Steamboat... I think Steamboat will be replaced by someone.
Yeah, Punk, probably. It's his hometown.
Oh, man.
But still, that's just a weird thing for Tony Khan to just tweet. Like, yeah, Ricky Stark's going to call out Ricky Steamboat for a strap match at All Out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of information in one go.
I feel also I'm a bit over Ricky, or people call Ricky with Junior versus Junior. Like, you know what I mean? We watched a match at the weekend of Ricky Knight Jr. versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
And there was a very funny chant in the crowd. Let's go, Junior.
Let's go, Junior.
Junior sucks.
Junior sucks, yeah. That's good.
And this is going to be Ricky.
Ricky. Nothing wrong with that.
Nick would have laughed more. Tony Storm's talking to Renee Paquette. Tony is doing this really fun character, which
great.
Pete thinks can headline pay-per-views, apparently.
I did not say that! I just think if she got a singles match, that's another big name.
Yeah. She's really fun. She's been doing this for a couple of weeks. And it's funny. It's really good.
She said everything went tits up at All In, and I laughed. She's funny.
And she throws shoes.
Who throws a shoe?
We got Jericho. He's back to being uninteresting now Ospreay's not around. But that was a good week.
So, here's my theory. Chris Jericho has seen everybody loving the MJF and Adam Cole story, and he's gone, I should do that, but with Sammy Guevara, and with none of the context and none of the heart. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And one we've teased and done really for about 3 years as well. So Jericho comes out. He puts over All In as one of the best nights of his career. Said 81,000 tickets sold as a shoot, baby. And then he called out Sammy Guevara, and he said he wanted to apologize for not knowing that Sammy had helped him.
Yeah.
He didn't know that Sammy had clocked Ospreay with the bat when he was in the walls.
Yeah.
So it was just like another one of those, like you said, FTR Young Bucks. Oh, yeah, but there's no deal.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It's fine.
They hugged, and then Jericho started to go on and talk more about things he might have done differently, might have done this. Maybe if Sammy hit Will Ospreay with the bat harder, it would have... And Sammy's like, whoa, what? And it brought up the conflict again, and they go back and forth. And then they decided to get back together and face FTR next Wednesday.
Did they say they're facing FTR next week? I thought it was like, we're going to join the tag division again next week. I thought it was like, our conquest begins next week. That's what I took from it. I don't know if I misheard.
Perhaps my mind just tried to make it more interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Can we confirm that anywhere? Was
it
AEW?
Was it against FTR specifically, or was it just, we should do tags again?
The Sex Gods.
The Sex Gods. He said, reunite the Sex Gods. Which is a weird thing to say seriously.
But that's wrestling.
That's wrestling.
Fine. Sammy Guevara later on had a backstage interview, and Don Callis tried to schmooze him, and Sammy's like, go away. I don't want any part in you.
Yeah.
So Don, Jericho, it's still bubbling, but that's, where does this go?
Jericho Takeshita, I guess.
Oh. But what about the Guevara stuff?
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. I both don't care and can't see where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Blackpool Combat Club promo with Mox saying his bite is bigger than his bark. A lot of people bark around here, but they don't back it up.
Everybody's got a catchphrase, which is important for later.
This is when I wrote, this isn't the most effective go-home show. But then we got Wheeler Yuta versus Eddie Kingston, which I'm
trying to check the chat. See, normally Luke has his laptop here to read stuff, but I don't have that. So I'm trying to read the chat, but it's far away.
It is far
away. So you
away.
Carry on. I'm going to read the chat.
Sure. So Wheeler Yuta then took on Eddie Kingston in a singles match, which was for the New Japan Strong Championship. This was a decent match. Not really enough time to get stuff across. They worked over Eddie's arm from the Stadium Stampede match. Eddie did all his awesome stuff. Eddie did a tope.
He did. It was great.
Yeah. Loved Eddie. Wheeler Yuta's really good, but ultimately 8 minutes, I think. And Eddie won by fighting through the pain of his right arm. And then Claudio came out to help Yuta to the back, but never looked at Eddie. The disrespect.
I really like subtle little details. I like the Claudio not looking at him. Great. I also really liked, during this match, it cut to a backstage shot of Mox and Claudio watching Yuta backstage. And normally, cuts backstage, people are watching, they're going... And, that's it. It's nothing. You saw Mox backstage. Yuta was in control, and Mox was, almost like grappling by himself. He's like, now come on, do this next
yeah.
thing. It's like he's like coaching him from afar, even though he can't hear him, you know. He's like getting involved physically to be like, now here's what you do next. It's like it just puts over like that coaching mentality of Mox the whole time. I love little subtle details like that. It's so good. Also, the chat said, yeah, generally just tagging.
Oh.
They were like, the road to the tag titles begins next week.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, apologies. Then we got a clip after All In. So this was Adam Cole going up to MJF backstage. Max is sort of holding his neck. He's like, you really worked over my neck there. But they're still best friends. And then Max just goes into Excalibur mode where he ran through all the... You know when the Street Profits just used to hype up what was on Raw that night?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it felt like a bit. Of course, he's very charismatic in doing it. But it was a fine... I'm not really criticizing it, but you are always told in storytelling, do not do this sort of forced exposition stuff.
Yeah.
And even though it was done tongue-in-cheek, I was like, this is the world champion.
I think they wanted to just get MJF on the show and also wanted to announce these things, so they just combined the two and just said, well, MJF can announce these things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So to go through the things, Max has got a week off. He's going to Paris to eat a baguette and bang some rats.
Sure.
Cole and Max are gonna defend their ROH tag titles at All Out, and they'll be defending them against the winner of the Rampage Battle Royal. And there is also a Grand Slam Eliminator tournament that's going to start with the winner facing Max at Grand Slam, which is at the end of September.
Grand Slam Eliminator tournament, great idea. Big fan of that, especially with what came next as well. I think that's a really good idea. The Battle Royal, good idea. Don't think the right people won. Spoilers again, because we'll say it again. It's the Dark Order. Don't get me wrong. Really like John Silver. Really like Alex Reynolds. I think they're a great tag team. I said, we mentioned that to Tempest in the office. He's like, where have they been? I was like, Ring of Honor. So they're challenging for the Ring of Honor tag titles, which I guess makes sense. But this should have been set up more, right?
Do you want a prediction? I think Colt Cabana's going to get added to the card. I think that Tony's like, okay, Punk's not on this show, so I can use all the people that I've moved to Ring of Honor and get them a nice little rub and stuff.
So here's a crazy suggestion. Here's a crazy thought. Do you think that the Dark Order could win? Featuring Kingdom, Roddy Strong interference, you get the Ring of Honor tag titles back onto a Ring of Honor team.
I mean, they could win.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be good.
Me neither. I think it would have been fine if it was the Kingdom.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Dark Order are the right team.
I am so shocked by this booking. It is just not. And, I hate to do down Dark Order because I really like them. But it's just they've not been presented in any way credible. The point of the pay-per-view is to put matches on that people actively pay for. This is a free TV match. This is a Dynamite main event.
Yeah.
And one of the shorter ones at that.
Yeah.
The sort of main event that really you're waiting for the Cole MJF post-match talk.
Yeah.
Well, let's cover the Adam Cole promo because it kind of informs some of the bits we're talking there. Renee talked to Sammy as we spoke about earlier in this. So Adam Cole comes down. He thanks us all for making Sunday the most special night of his life, but it wasn't quite perfect because he lost the main event. But he knows he'll get another shot down the line. Ooh, nice tease. And then he mentioned that Max has a banged up neck. This brought out Roddy. Adam!
I really like Roddy Strong's character here. He's such a whiny baby.
I've got a bad neck.
Why don't you care about my neck, Adam?
So funny when he said that.
Great. And I hope this isn't Strong's normal voice, but his voice really lends to this character of being a little whiny crybaby.
He's amping it up.
I hope so, because otherwise I am just mocking his voice.
Yeah.
But I hope it's just a performance, in which case, well done.
You've heard Roderick Strong talk before.
Well, not that much. He doesn't talk much.
So Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, great. Love both of them.
I wrote Mike Bennett and Mike Taven. That's incorrect.
The Mikes.
The Mikes.
They put it. This was good because this was the first time we actually got more of that context behind Adam Cole's relationship with the Kingdom on AEW TV.
Yeah.
So they put over the Kingdom's history, how Mike and Cole got each other the jobs at Ring of Honor. They had a match that was so impressive. They got them the contracts. And then Taven calls Cole a leech.
Yeah.
He used the Kingdom. He used Bullet Club. He used all our friends in Florida, which is Undisputed Era in NXT, to get ahead. And now you're using Max.
Yeah.
This is really, really good stuff.
It's great, yeah. Really enjoyed this.
Cole apologized. Like, I'm so sorry if you felt that way. But one thing I've learned about friendship is, I can't remember what he said there, actually. But he just said, Max isn't just his friend. He's his best friend. And Roddy looked like he was going to cry.
Yeah.
And he said that Roddy's going to enter the tournament to do what Cole couldn't do, and that's win the belt. And Adam Cole, like a friend, is like, but your neck. You're not cleared to, you're not fit to compete. That's dangerous. So that's the segment now. I really want Cole to also enter this tournament. Because he's getting obsessed. He said earlier that he'll get another shot. This is another way to get a shot.
Yep.
He comes up against Roderick Strong in the brackets. And he really goes hard. And he hurts Roddy's neck. He targets the neck. And all the time, Max is looking at this, watching on from ringside, going, well, I'm going to face this guy next week. And I've got a bad neck. And I'm his friend.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of juice here. There's a lot of great stuff to work with. I also really, really liked the Kingdom promos. I thought they did such a good job. It's a shame that the Chicago crowd didn't really respond to any of it, but I thought it was really good. Provided some much needed context kind of on TV, laid it all out, and explained why it was important. And I really like that Cole has justifications for everything, but also could be just lying. Love this character. So good.
Love this character. Chicago was really disappointing.
Yeah, it wasn't a good crowd, I'll say this time. And they could just be a bit bummed about All Out, in all honesty. I don't know, but they weren't a great crowd.
It's quite worrying, though, because they're doing Collision now on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then they're doing All Out there on Sunday.
Yeah.
So usually crowds get less hot the more you run them.
Yep.
It's killing, the old killing the town metaphor.
Yeah.
So yeah. Not. There's a lot of things not looking good for this Sunday.
Yeah.
We got a Penta promo with Alex Abrahantes.
I have thoughts. I don't do podcasts a lot, so I don't get to say my opinions about general stuff in wrestling that much. Penta sounds so cool because he did a little bit in English here, and he's saying how much he wants to hurt Mox. And he's like, really like deep, gravelly voice. He's like, you hurt my brother, I'm going to hurt you. Then Alex Abrahantes comes in. Yeah, Penta says he's going to get you, Mox. Like, oh, you ruined everything, Alex. I'm sure he's a nice person, but I really dislike Alex Abrahantes as part of this presentation. Yeah. He makes the Lucha Brothers so desperately uncool. And then when he does his entrance, Penta's super charismatic, doing his little like steppy steps on the entrance. Yeah. Super cool. Alex is there like, yeah, I'm part of this too, guys. Like, no, you're not. Stop it. Anyway, I just don't like Alex Abrahantes that much.
I unfortunately agree.
He's just not cool.
Yeah. Statlander, Shida, and Baker then took on Nyla Rose, Marina Shafir, and Emi Sakura in a 6-person tag next. Standard quarter past the second hour slot. This was actually quite fun. It was a fun match. Yeah. I thought this was one of the better performances for Statlander. She had like a big crossbody to the outside and one beat Shafir in the middle of the ring. But yeah,
this was just a match. Yeah. I don't really know what was happening here. Like, Statlander won decisively. Cool. Soho had a post-match beatdown on Statlander. Okay. And then there was some dissension between Shida and Baker. So, that's it, though. There wasn't anything much more to it. There's no depth to it.
So Baker had Shida beat in the 4-way, potentially, but Saraya got the pin, won the championship. That's something. And they argued at the end, but that was because Baker had accidentally hit Shida. You know, one of those things that's so obviously an accident.
Yeah.
This is nothing.
Yeah.
Statlander's facing Soho, of course, for the TBS title. This is when we got the announcement that Shane Taylor is going to face Joe for the TV title at All Out.
Rad.
I love Shane Taylor, love Samoa Joe, but what?
Now, I'm really looking forward to this match.
Yeah.
It's two big dudes. They're going to have a great match. I'm really looking forward to it. Why is it on All Out?
Yeah. This could be a really great Dynamite main event.
Yeah. Great match for Collision.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should be on All Out. I don't know. Not without a bit of work beforehand. If you want to do the feud, fine. You want to do the work to build Shane Taylor up on TV beforehand, all for that. Sounds great. Love Shane Taylor. But this just kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's only because I've read about this. Ring of Honor has been doing a big tournament to decide who faces Joe.
Yeah.
And Shane Taylor won that tournament.
He did.
I don't think they ever mentioned that tournament in this video package.
No. They just said, well, Shane Taylor's facing him. And that's it. That's all you need to know.
Don Callis and Takeshita had a fun segment, though. They're backstage, and Don is playing video footage of, like, Kenny being hit by moves, and it's like, the reason that bit hurt is because he's got no cartilage in his knee. And apparently these are shoot x-rays. He then shows the x-ray photo, and it's Kenny's knee. He's like, so you've got to hit this move this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
You need to watch out for the Blue Thunder Bomb. It's going to really hurt his side because done something to his hip or something.
Hernia, I think.
Yeah, hernia, that's right, yeah. I thought this was really good. Don Callis is great. I think Takeshita is great. I don't think this was necessarily the hot go-home angle you needed, but it was fun.
I can only assume Kenny was unavailable.
Yes.
Because
I would assume so.
You needed a good go-home angle here otherwise.
Yeah.
We got the Acclaimed title celebration. This was actually really fun.
This was fun.
And probably one of the more alive parts for the crowd of the night. Daddy Ass is back. It's not Billy Gunn anymore.
Yep.
He seems a bit, I don't know if he's grumpy, but
I get the feeling he might be a bit over it, all this stuff.
So there are two moments in this. The Acclaim come down, they do their rap, they have a Trump mugshot joke, and it's all there to unveil these actually really cool custom trios belts.
Yeah, they're very good. Hot pink straps.
With
the belt scissor.
At the back. That's
it's
amazing.
Crazy. It's a great idea.
But Daddy Ass is like, well, I'm back. I was only gone for a day.
Yeah.
Because he was badass Billy Gunn for All In.
It's like the crowd reacted and went, hey, Daddy Ass. And he was like, I was only gone for a day, guys.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So I don't know if that's Billy being grumpy or just, that sort of DX humor where you constantly undermine anything you do as a joke. But then he said, all right, well, we haven't got much time, so let's speed this up.
Yeah.
cut the music. I was like, that isn't a joke.
That's just you saying stuff.
That's you being concerned about finishing on time.
Exactly. But Anthony Bowen said, welcome to the House of Ass.
Yes.
So that made it a 10 out of 10 segment.
Did you hear Excalibur's line off the back of that?
I don't think I did.
House of Ass, he said, coincidentally, that's where Max is in Amsterdam right now.
Very good.
Then they announced that they're going to defend the trio's titles on Collision against the former JAS, which is Garcia and 2.0.
Yeah. Not a big match at All Out. Just a match against three guys on Collision. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Then we get Excalibur running down the all-out card, and I was like, oh my God. That's it. Eesh. I've written Eesh.
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 He'd have been great on this card. Eesh.
To to do that to the Chicago loyal crowd as well. Eesh.
Yeah.
However, the main event was so good, and it has left me in a much better mood.
Yeah.
Because going into this match, I was like, why is this happening? It should be Penta versus Mox, number one contenders match. Mox took out Phoenix last week. It's a blood feud. There's a title shot on the line. Give Mox a strong win going into the pay-per-view.
I think that this was the idea being that because Penta and Mox have their beef, you're supposed to believe that Penta could win because then they can blow off that beef at the all-out match with Penta and Mox. I don't think it quite worked, but I understood what they were trying to do here. But I do think it was fairly obvious that Cassidy was retaining.
Yeah, so for that's on paper bad, in my opinion. Or at least like suboptimal. The match was so goddamn good.
So great.
Genuinely, I thought they were changing the championship.
Yep.
And I hope that's not hyperbole, because I have said so many times on this podcast, yeah, it was a good near fall. I mean, I popped for it, but it's not like one I actually thought it was going to change hands. I legit thought Penta was about to become the new champion.
Yeah. That near fall at the end was impeccable.
I thought it was a great match from the start.
It was, yeah.
And then it just got better and better and better. They did trading Canadian destroyers.
I really like that.
Yeah.
It's silly, but I love it.
It was like, yeah, you get hit by one, stumble back, bounce off the ropes, come forward. You hit one on the other guy. Oh, brilliant. And then Penta, I think it was a Fear Factor on the apron.
Yep.
Rolled him in, kick out.
Which looked great. And then Cassidy only just got his arm on the rope. You're like, oh man, wow, that's the near fall of the match, right?
Yeah.
And then he does the arm break spot, which Cassidy sells amazingly. Then it's another Fear Factor in there, and you go, oh, well, this is the end then, because we already had the near fall. Another near fall. Cassidy kicks out.
A near fall right into the pin. And they put it over on commentary, like that momentary distraction. Like Penta was so shocked that Cassidy kicked out, as we all were too.
Yeah.
That allowed Cassidy to get the roll-up win. I just thought, what a finish.
Yeah.
I really believe that reasoning. Yeah. Because I was just so shocked as well. I would have also been rolled up in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Also, Penta caught a dive from Cassidy in a gorilla press position. Brilliant.
I've not really seen that before.
Yeah. It was so cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And then he just lobbed him into the barricade.
It was awesome.
So after that, was just such a good main event, and the crowd had really whipped up into a frenzy by this point, and they hadn't been that hot all night. I think the Acclaimed segment in this really brought them up. Cassidy gets a chair, puts it down, and sits on it. And he says he doesn't usually speak, but he cut an actual promo saying how AEW gives opportunities to people like him who wouldn't succeed elsewhere, that he defends this belt as often as he can because this belt means everything to him. And he finished with, I'm going to beat you, Moxley, at All Out, because I'm freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and I do not have a catchphrase.
Now that is a genius line, because it's very Orange Cassidy. It's on its own, in isolation, that's just a funny line. That's like a good joke. But it perfectly references the promo that Moxie did earlier when he's like, well, everyone around here's got a catchphrase, all that stuff. It's all about who's got the biggest bite. Orange Cassidy's like, I don't need a catchphrase. I don't have one. This is all about the wrestling. I went into this episode of Dynamite. I had a random thought when I was on the train to work this morning. I was thinking about Orange Cassidy. And I was like, it'd be really cool if at some point he just does like a really fired up promo. Yeah. Like he just loses it and he's screaming and shouting and he's like really trying. This wasn't that level of like super fired up, but this was a proper promo. People were like, I will beat you, Mox. There was no like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
He's trying now. The thing that makes Orange Cassidy so great is he's such a good wrestler. The balls on that man to be that good a wrestler and to a comedy character for years. The balls on that man.
Not just a comedy character, but a comedy character who on purposely doesn't wrestle.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
It's like Jericho.
Yeah, right?
And Sami Zayn, you're like, you were a mute character.
Yeah.
And you're that good a promo.
Yeah. It's crazy. The balls on that man. I loved it. Mox came out right at the end, slapped him. Orange Cassidy slapped him back. He's like, and what? Like, and they're just, head to head to close the episode. Really good.
Mox's intensity here was really, really fiery. He didn't need to say anything else. Just this, All Out, it's such an underwhelming card. But they have built this international championship match so well. 80% of the excitement has come from this episode. But they have been doing this long building feud with them beforehand. I guess I would just wish that Moxley pinned Cassidy in Stadium Stampede. See anything I would have changed in the recent build?
Yeah. I think that Cassidy's build on its own, though, has been so great.
Yeah.
That I'm willing to.
The overarching Cassidy.
The overarching Cassidy build has been so great.
So, really, really good international championship episode, but not really good for the other stuff.
I think that should main event All Out.
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know what else would.
Yeah,
at that point.
I agree. We've had loads of Omega chats in.
Cracking.
Thank you very much. So we'll crack on with those. I don't think we've got any Patreon. We've done them all for this month.
I believe you're right, yes.
Suave Titan.
We did those. It's been so long since I've done a podcast.
Sorry, I gave this 73%.
Sure. I would have given it about 4 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, I think. 4 out of 5 normally, but for an all-in post-show and an all-out
go-home show, yeah.
Suave Titan says, it seems like every AEW pay-per-view we overreact to how bad the build was just to wake up Monday yelling how great it was. Not going to give All Out that grace? I also still say that you should have a good build even after the fact.
Yes.
Kevin, I hear the argument that people don't have enough money to pay for 2 pay-per-views in a week. My answer, violent people negotiating. Very pertinent naysayers. Vigorously passionate narcissists.
Very good. That's a Surfshark VPN reference. Well done.
Liam Leonard, Memberg for 24 months. I feel like the rush from one pay-per-view to another really damages any momentum AEW has, as they have to push half-assed feuds. Love you guys, jam that jam. I think there would have been a way to make it full-assed feuds.
Yeah.
Karen Mercandani has been a Memberg for 14 months. Felt like a great week 1 of a pay-per-view build. Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's this weekend. OC is a constant highlight, though.
He's great.
Bizarro Big L. Ollie, you can't build new people if you don't give them a chance, especially Shane frickin' Taylor. They did mention Shane was the number 1 contender. And give me a Pretty Boy Killers reunion with Keith Lee anytime. I believe the Brave funeral complicated the next 2 weeks.
Yes. There are a lot of circumstances that did not help AEW. There was travel issues, there was illnesses, there was a Bray Wyatt funeral, which Tony Khan very, I think, graciously granted everybody time off so they could attend it if they wanted to. All of that, undeniable, that sucks for AEW. But they also booked themselves into this position by only having 1 week between pay-per-views. That's just how it goes.
On the Shane Taylor thing, I totally agree. Give people a chance. Don't debut them on the pay-per-view with no build.
That's the point, is you should build them. That's the idea.
Yeah, they've done it on Ring of Honor, but this isn't a Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
No, exactly.
Nick Corvello, hey Ollie and Pete, in regards to the Sheeta Baker teasers, with the accidental kick, arguing, and Sheeta tagging Britt but not getting tagged back, we're getting a feud for sure, and either a contendership match or a 3-way with Saraya for the title are All Out and heel Britt.
All Out? That's bold, I think.
It's 4 days away.
Yep.
I think Toni Storm's the better shout anyway to go for there. Yeah. I think she feels more exciting.
Yes.
And has more history with Saraya. Zeko, Memberg for 24 months. Personally, I agree with the other thumbnail of OC being the best champ in the company. Consistently great matches. I hope he doesn't lose All Out.
I think he should. There's my hot take.
Before this episode, I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, put the title on Mox. Mox versus Kingston feud for Arthur Ashe. Now I'm like, if Cassidy beats Mox, it is such a crowning achievement for the International Championship and him.
Yeah.
And now for my Wrestle League, I went for Cassidy.
Crazy. I think Mox will continue the elevated presence of the international title. I think he is a super big name that AEW clearly cares about a lot. So I think there's no risk of the international title dropping back down the card with Moxley holding it.
Yeah.
So I think he's a great person to dethrone Cassidy.
Both are great options. Harrison Earl. Roddy's shouting, Adam! Every time gives me strong Vicky Guerrero, excuse me vibes. Love Roddy, so I want him to win the tournament. It would be fun to have Colby a special guest referee during the title match.
Oh, that's good.
Also, lastly, Orange Cassidy, Wrestler of the Year, non-negotiable.
He's definitely in the conversation.
I mean, it's Will Ospreay, but Cassidy is
He's
a
in
good
the conversation,
shout.
yes.
Kid Cudi, having your serious, not serious, wounded champion beat qualified competitors for this long doesn't work if the plan is for Mox to win. It should be someone less credible so the injuries angle feels more legit. Also, do wins and losses count in AEW anymore?
No, not really.
Ben Vlerick, the Canadian Destroyer no-sell Spotfest though. Why? Don't want to be old and yelling at clouds, but come on, it's getting ridiculous, and for what? Doesn't add anything to the match, and it's plain stupid, insulting even, I'd say. I'm not against the crazy modern wrestling, but it seems like lots of wrestlers just do it because it'd be cool without thinking why and how and when it should be implemented in a match. And, make sense and matter. That and overdoing it really kills the impact. Remember when I first saw a Destroyer and it blew my mind? Now I couldn't care less because it's in every match and doesn't mean much anymore. I swear I'm not old and bitter like Cornette, but we can question modern wrestling, right? Well, I'll see myself out, lol. Sorry.
I understand what you're trying to say. I totally understand your opinion. I don't think it was no sells. That's the thing. It was because after they did that third one, it was 3 Destroyers total. It went 1, then trade back, then 1 more. And afterwards, both of them were like, oh God, where am I? Oh, Jesus. Like stumbling around the ring. So it wasn't a no-sell. It was almost like that power-up spot of being like, no, I need to hit one more. Like, especially in like New Japan wrestling, when, someone's getting chopped down and they start firing up. I compare it more to that sort of style of wrestling.
I think it's what your sore points are, because I remember the first time I saw Petey Williams do a Canadian Destroyer, and I was like, this is the coolest finisher of all time.
Yeah.
But it's 15 years since I've seen that.
Yeah.
And it's like saying, oh well, the super kick should be reserved as a finisher. It is just a bit in a match now. So you could make peace with it or get annoyed. But like me, I still really am annoyed that MJF used the second rope tombstone pile driver for a near fall against Sammy Guevara a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
For me, it's a tombstone pile driver.
Yeah.
I don't like it when Okada just uses it as a near fall.
I mean, a lot of people have other moves like that, like a DDT. You know, people say that should still be reserved for for finishes and stuff like that.
Can I hot tag you for Matt Hennessy?
You absolutely can. Oh my God, that's oh wow, that's one person doing 9 Ultra Chats. Matt Hennessy says, everyone's giving their opinion of the Punk and Perry situation, so I may as well give my own. The parallels are kind of nuts. Nearly a full year after Punk was suspended from from All Out, he's now suspended after Brawl In from All In. I honestly think Tony Khan is going to have to make a choice soon. Option 1, keep Punk around, which will lead to low morale for the company and risk more backstage fights happening, which continues to put a black eye on the company. Phil already now put 2 black eyes on the company. Not black marks on the company. Black eyes on the company. From All Out last year and All In this year. Option 2, you get rid of him. Honestly, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm getting rid of Punk within the space of a year. He has hurt the company image and put a negative spotlight on them. I've seen a lot of people just upset that Punk has been going into business for himself and shooting on the Elite since he returned, calling them and their fans soft. The minute someone like Perry shoots on him, Punk's reaction is to fight him. Maybe, Phil, don't shoot on others if your fragile ego can't take being shot on in return. Even before that, when Ryan Nemeth called him the softest man in wrestling, Phil confronted him and banned him from Collision, along with not allowing guys like Adam Page, Matt Hardy, and Christopher Daniels work those shows because of their closeness with the Elite, despite the fact that Daniels is head of talent. I said Punk returning would bite AEW and Tony Khan on the ass, and I was right. I wish I wasn't right. This also exposes Tony's lack of leadership, as he can't control his locker room. There's an old saying that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, and neither Punk nor Tony have learned from Brawl Out last year. While I don't like taking sides, Punk has been the common denominator in all these fights. If Tony keeps him around, and this keeps happening, it's going to hurt the company and do irreversible damage to AEW. The Punk situation, yet again, has hurt AEW plans for All Out, and has made everyone involved in the company, and Tony Khan as a leader, look bad. It took AEW a year to recover after Brawl Out, and honestly, after watching this show and looking at the All Out card, it really feels like we're back to where we were a year ago after Brawl Out. Something needs to change.
Well done, Pete, and thank you very much, Matt, for that. I think that's a that's a summary of the situation, isn't it?
That is the summary right there.
But in terms of like where this will go and the actions, I think it's just too frequent for CM Punk. But they put themselves into such a difficult position because Collision is the CM Punk show.
Mm-hmm.
It's
what you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, for me, we had a video last year where I argued.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
The WrestleTalk React video. Yeah.
And I took the side of, Punk's the biggest draw, all this money.
Yeah.
Think of what you could do.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, if I was in Tony Khan's position, I'd part ways.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's working.
Yeah.
And it's happening too often.
Yeah. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I did say on that video, maybe don't bring Punk back. Thank you.
Roll the credits.
Dartrain24. It's been a Memberg for 13 months in a row. I love Punk, but I'm so done with the BS. I'm going to try to make it to next year's show. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
William Rosmer said, I was there last night. I think out of the 7 AEW shows I've seen in that arena, that was the least full I've ever seen. And 2 of those shows were just Rampage and Dark Elevation tapings. Crikey. William Rosmer again said the entire upper tier of the arena was empty. Also, the Bucks didn't get booed, and Hangman got cheered. We'll have to wait for Collision to confirm, but Chicago may have finally dropped Punk. I agree with Ollie. It really is hard to be a Punk fan at times.
Wow. Chicago dropping Punk.
Can you imagine? Chicago dropped Punk. That is CD Punk. Austin Falco said, was there last night. It was definitely a small, quiet crowd. I expect better at the United Center Saturday, Sunday. Not much energy in the building with an underwhelming card/roster, and the Punk news wasn't a single CM Punk chant, which was bizarre.
I've not really put those two things together in my head, but yeah. Wow.
Crazy.
That is quite...
Yeah.
That's significant.
Mayor of Painesville Dan said, hello, Pete and Ollie. Hello. I hope you're feeling well today. If not, get some sweets and relax. Thank you for working so hard. I think AEW needs to push a couple more guys to the top and keep them. Right now, they don't have that many main event level players.
I mean, Moxley, Omega, MJF, Adam Cole. I feel, obviously MJF's a big success story. But what he's done to re-legitimize Adam Cole is kind of going under the radar.
Yeah.
I feel like Cole is up there at the main event now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Darby, Hangman Page, Jericho. I think they've got a lot. But yeah, some fresh faces up there would be welcome.
Yeah. Patrick Eddy said, destroyer to destroyer to destroyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I wonder if Punk was maybe supposed to main event All Out. That is the report from Fightful Select is that he was probably supposed to. The likely plan was Ricky Starks versus CM Punk for the real world title in the main event of All Out. So now they don't have a main event currently. But maybe things will change on Collision. Who knows? It sucks if he's suspended. I bought tickets to Collision in Cleveland next week, hoping that I'd get to see him. Happy birthday, Big Chopper Chump.
It's all Pete Wrestling today.
All Pete Wrestling. It's also not my birthday. Falling Downer said, a few things bring me more joy than Eddie Kingston or Orange Cassidy matches. For that alone, I had a great time with this episode. I need more of Taven calling people Melvins on TV. Loved Bennett's Fire. I hope this alliance with Roddy puts a spotlight on them. I think they're both very good and underrated. William Rosmer again said, to be fair, Dynamite was almost an hour outside of Chicago proper. Collision and All Out will actually be in the city. That's fair. So it wasn't Chicago,
Yeah, but that Chicago crowd, where is a more passionate crowd historically?
Yeah. Who knows? Playing Nice 101. Sorry, just refresh.
I was saying you'd expect them to travel an hour.
Yes, exactly, yes. Playing Nice 101 said, All In was my second ever live wrestling show. First since an episode of Raw a couple of weeks after my 10th birthday in 2012. I was also at that Raw.
I was also at that Raw where CM Punk came out afterwards and I shouted at a 10-year-old kid in the box for cheering John Cena.
A 10-year-old kid?
Well, I don't know if they were 10 years old, but they were in a box.
Crazy.
So maybe they were being treated for something. I got the tickets free through work.
Crazy. I bought them with my own money. It was such an incredible experience to be a part of. Watching AEW grow to this point has made me so happy to see. I won't be watching All In back, as I don't think it will ever do justice to the atmosphere of being there live. Also, there was a dude sitting in front of me who spent the whole show scrolling on his phone, laughing at pretty niche AEW memes on Twitter.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I've watched bits back. Just at like my favorite bits.
Yeah.
And some of the entrances, which I didn't properly see.
Yeah.
Those, but I won't watch the full show back there.
I think I kind of do want to. I don't think I will, but I think I would want to watch the whole thing back because I think, it's my hot take, maybe from where I was sitting, because I was quite far back and the atmosphere where I was sitting wasn't just too hot. I think I was saying, I can't remember who I was saying it to, but I was saying it to someone. It felt like I was adjacent to the crowd. It didn't feel like I was part of the atmosphere that much, you know? And I think it might have come across better on TV than it was where I was sitting. So I kind of want to watch it back to get that.
I think we were at similar distances, though.
When you were tier down?
No,
you weren't nosebleed tier. You weren't the highest tier, were you?
We were the highest tier.
Oh, you were at the front of that tier, right? By like the screen?
We were sort of one chunk back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we weren't really high up. We were 513.
Yeah, so probably around. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just the people around me. I just didn't. I didn't feel like it was loud.
I think I was having my own party.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Misha Summer said,
"Hi, Misha.
Didn't watch Dynamite because I don't have Fire, but I just wanted to donate to. Fire. But I just wanted to donate to mention how amazing the WrestleTalk folks are. Thank you. Bumped into most of the team at one point or another over the weekend. Great times. Jam that jam. Support each other. Shameless Mark.
Oh, thank you, Misha, and thank you everybody who came to say hi at the AEW show.
Do we have a poll?
Yep.
It says check the final poll, but the poll is still going.
You can end it. That's what Luke usually does.
But it's on a. He normally does. I'm gonna have to get up.
You can do
that.
I'll talk about how cold it is in this room because I foolishly turned on the air conditioning and took off my jumper right at the start. Are you cold?
Yeah.
I feel like I've got goosebumps on my arms.
Okay.
What do we got?
I mean, I pressed end poll, and now there doesn't seem to be anything in the chat. So
I did see that blue thing.
I did see it. Well, that's a pin. That's the pin comment about joining
WrestleTalk. Oh, there it is. There it is.
There it is. Mid 48%. Thumbs up 40%. Thumbs down 11%.
That is a really high thumbs down percentage for an AEW show.
For normal,
a lot of mids as well.
Yeah, there's only 40% thumbs up, which seems low for an AEW show. Definitely. It's still kind of that mid to thumbs up is the majority, but it is mid.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here today and for your loads of OmegaChats. Thanks very much. But please do subscribe and check back tomorrow because we've got all out predictions going live. Nearly said all in again. And go over to the WrestleTalk news channel to watch our news from earlier today. We've also got a bunch of content this weekend because we're not going to be doing Payback live reactions, but we will have a podcast review of Payback. It's going to be me and you doing the Payback podcast review. Going to have live reactions to All Out, which will be Tempest and Dan Layton. Dan Layton will be defending his Jam That Championship against Tempest. He's going to win the belt back for LIW, I hope. And then on Monday, Ollie and Luke will be reviewing All Out as well. So, a lot of content. And this guy's doing Saturday SmackDown as well.
Unbelievable.
Wow. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been All Pete Wrestling. Jam That Jam.